Well, Paul, it was certainly a busy day yesterday.
A very busy day. Great credit to the chairman, the club, and everyone for allowing us to do such, what seems to be at the minute good business, I suppose.
And you must be very excited with the calibre of players that have been able to be brought in.
I think that's one of the important things with football in general, and I fully understand the fans' perspective on, where you want to sign players, but you want to sign the right ones. For us, we feel, naturally, that the additions we've made to the squad will greatly benefit the team for the forthcoming season.
And I mean, one of the eye-catching ones this morning that's been announced, Lee Evans returning to the club, a fantastic player whilst he was here last time.
I'm absolutely delighted to get Lee. I think, the Wigan fans had a taste of him for probably half a season last year. Full Welsh international, great character in the dressing room, someone we're absolutely delighted to have back.
Is that the thing with the deals for Lee and also Josh, that it was a case of timing, you just had to wait for these players to become available?
Yeah, I've said, all along, the problem with football today for managers is we get sacked far too quickly. The patience has gone out the game now. Managers fear for the job now, imminently after any type of poor run of games. And if you're trying to plan going forward and you want to wait for players to become available and fit the slots that you require, and sometimes managers won't do that because they know what's at stake. For us, we had an outstanding season in League One last year. We've gone into the summer this year wanting and knowing that we need strengthening. We feel at the minute still possibly one or two deals maybe to be done. In and around the squad, I think people know where we're probably a little bit weaker than some. Saying going forward and then forward areas of the pitch down central midfield, we're very, very strong.
It's one of those, isn't it? Before the season started, after the Rangers game, there was a bit of pessimism around. But now, especially with what you've done yesterday in the window, there's so much euphoria about.
Well, that's the problem with football. After the Rangers game, you can only come out and add to the pessimism, can't you? By being down and gloomy. But behind the scenes, you know what you're working towards. And you can't say to fans and people, we're going to be all right, we're working towards signing players. But we are. And sometimes you've got to, I know it's a weird, morbid thing to say, you've got to enjoy your bad days. They're part and parcel of football. Them bad days are never far away. And the reason you have the bad days, it drives you on to have good days. If you look at the Rangers game to the Sheffield Wednesday game, it highlights a week in football. And that's exactly where you get as a manager.
In terms of the transfer business, how happy are you that Dan Burn's obviously gone to Brighton, but he's coming back until January?
It always created a big problem for us with Brighton initially making contact. Obviously the player would want to leave, like any natural player would do. For us, that would have left a massive void in our team. One possibly that we were finding very, very difficult to bridge. So, we spoke with Brighton at length. For the players' point of view, from our point of view and Brighton's point of view, I feel it was a fantastic outcome for everyone. It really was. It gives the lads an opportunity to go down, sign, get all this side of it. It gives us the opportunity to know we've got an outstanding man and footballer with us till January for sure. And that allows us then, recruitment-wise, to look for a replacement. So, for me, it's a massive, massive plus from everyone. And you have to thank everybody involved for managing to achieve that.
He's obviously got the moon boot on at the moment, but how long is he likely to be out for until he's obviously going to be back in contention?
Again, he had an extensive medical down there, and you can imagine now the medical departments the Premier League clubs have, they're very, very advanced. He was delighted with his foot and how it's coming on. I wouldn't want to put a time scale on it. From our point of view, we'd like it to be tomorrow. From the doctor's point of view, he'd probably say it might be X weeks. He's still weeks away from playing. But the likelihood for us, he's going to play for us again very, very often and hopefully very, very well.
And in terms of the outgoings, Ryan Colclough went to Scunthorpe and also Max Powell this morning going to Sunderland.
Yeah, again, massive thank you to both players. Both different lads in respect to positions and where they play on the pitch, etc. For Ryan going to Scunthorpe, it's a fantastic opportunity for himself to go establish himself in a team, and show everybody the player that's in there and that can come out. He's a good lad, Ryan. He's now got an opportunity at a club that will be going for promotion in League One to probably go and achieve that success that we all know is in the player, but we need to see more of. The opposite side from Max's point of view, he's been absolutely outstanding for me and for Wigan Athletics. I think there'll be many a fan disappointed with Max leaving, but sometimes when you have a personality like Max wants to play football regular, it's hard to keep them lads happy. So from my point of view, going to Sunderland for Max probably was a good deal for everyone. It's allowed us to move on in areas that we probably want to strengthen, and it satisfies Max with his pursuit of playing regular football. He's a fantastic lad. We certainly wish him well. We certainly wish him well over at Sunderland, doing a great club, and I'm sure we'll see Max and Ryan both at the DW again soon.
And that's the thing with Max, because if you rewind the clock 12 months, it perhaps didn't look as though it was going to end as it did, but he's got the promotion back to the Championship from League One, and he's established himself as a firm fan's favourite for many years to come.
Well, from my point of view, these end happily. This is how, in my opinion, football, we've got 3 outcomes now, Ryan Colclough, Max Power and Dan Burn, that in my opinion have all ended how it should, which is happily for everyone. Everybody leaves satisfied, and that for me is so important as a manager. It's not just about players coming in. I've never been a manager who's just wanted to bring player after player and sign. I've always liked to have balanced squads and work with, tight squads if you like, and certainly when I can't keep a player happy, it's as important for me to move them on properly and correctly as it is in bringing in a new side.
Well, easy to forget there's a game that's going to be taking place tomorrow down at Villa Park. In terms of debuts, many going to be handed out? Well,
we'll just wait and see. I think like last week we had the chaos of signings and back fours. This week we've got more chaos. So, as times of being a chaotic club, we're doing great at the minute, but the dust will settle on all that. I think it's important when new lads come in the building. We had an outstanding team performance last week. The disappointing thing from our point of view is that certain players in that team don't make the game this weekend due to injury. There's nothing we can do about that, so there will be changes. Will them changes come from within, or will they come from new signings? I think everyone can wait and see. Certainly the boys that we've brought in my opinion, brings the underbelly of the squad very much stronger. For too long we've possibly had the same team picking itself more often than not. With players pushing for first team starts, maybe not aggressively as they should. Now that's not the case at Wigan Athletic. We now have players within the building that can play football, and we're delighted with that.
In terms of team news, anything you can share then in terms of who's likely to miss out?
No. I'm sure Alex Bruce might have told his dad. I'll kill him if he has. There's no secrets in football. Steve was at our game last weekend. He'll know that we've played well on the day. That we can carry a threat going forward. But we're also well aware of what Aston Villa carry. We're not stupid.
And it's the kind of game, I suppose, down at Villa Park that promotion is all about, setting up these games, these opportunities against such illustrious clubs.
We're delighted. I think for me, I don't think you get a better fixture than Aston Villa away. That's just me personally. That's only my personal opinion. I think for me, they are possibly the biggest club in the division. Other clubs might argue that, but for me, and I'm only talking personally, they are the benchmark of what a Premier League club should be. I think Steve's inherited a multitude of problems as he's gone along, and he's had to deal with them as he always did, very professionally in a proper way. They got beat at Wembley last year, which will carry disappointment for them, but I'm sure Steve and his track record will pick them up and he'll go again. They're a fantastic club. We know we're in for a very difficult afternoon tomorrow, but it's one, in again a weird sort of way, we're very much looking forward to.
You mentioned the Latics connection. Steve, obviously former Wigan Athletic manager. You've got Alex. Do you put an arm around Alex this week and try and get some trade secrets?
No, we went across to watch. I went across to watch Aston Villa Hull on Monday night, and Alex was sitting in front of me. So it's good. I think they have a very strong family connection, as you can imagine, and both have had outstanding careers. And I think very much Alex supports his dad in a way that is correct and proper. And from our point of view, Steve's always been a very good friend to our club and myself, which is great. But tomorrow there's no love lost like that. It's a very competitive game. We want to go there and apply ourselves properly in a game where, as I've said before, I think people know, we don't want to sit back and say it's great to be at Villa Park and what a lovely stadium it is now. Delighted we are to be here. We want to take part in a game where people leave the stadium going, that was a good match.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing, especially from last week in the Championship. You may face more expansive opposition and therefore leaving gaps for you, hopefully, to exploit.
And them, I think you've got to be, last week was a perfect example. It's hard in football because the best teams are best at both ends of the pitch. And normally when you're not doing too well at one end, you commit players in that end of the pitch to pursue what you're doing. But then you leave the other end open. I think when good teams go to a football game and want to have a match, the likelihood is you can hurt each other, hence the game at the DW last Saturday. For us, we want to go in wide-eyed, looking forward to the games, enjoying our football, but also aware that if we play a certain way, we can get hurt. I think our fans will accept that, and you've got to be careful that that doesn't happen too often. So while the games are what they are, and we can go into them as equipped as we are, the most important thing is that we do concentrate on making sure that we are solid and we are hard to beat.